What's up, you guys? It's your girl Chanel Says What? And I'm back again. And yeah, so I wanted to do a video about some things, TV show wise, about some of the TV shows that I have been watching and some shows that I just now started watching, which is a new show. So bear with me, people. And I just like to jump right on into it. I don't like to waste none upon you. And yeah, so we're just gonna get right on into this thing because I don't like to waste time. So first thing, and I'm gonna break these things down in numbers for each different category of a show that I'm gonna speak about. I'm gonna break it down into numbers. So the first one that I'm gonna start off with is Game of Thrones. Now, for those of y'all who've been watching and keeping track of things, y'all know that the season is kind of moving a little slow, which it always done. So the first thing that I want to talk about Game of Thrones is that I feel that they wait too long to get into Jon Snow's and Daenerys storyline. Every since the beginning of the season starting, they paid more attention to other characters more than they did Daenerys. It was always, small little pieces of, her in this episode, or they wouldn't talk about her at all in this episode. And I feel like they moved too slow to get her storyline out there, and I think that is because they have too many characters on the show. There's way too many characters that take up too much of the time. Like, they take up too much of the show. And I feel like that is a major problem. That's a major issue with this show, is that they have all these characters and they have to split the time that they talk about these characters into little boxes. And Jon Snow and Daenerys box is really small, very, very small. And I personally, I'm sure there's a lot of different characters that people like on the show, obviously. And for me, the only characters that I care about and are interested in are the Starks and Daenerys. I like Sansa, even though, I do feel like, she's a little bitter and angry about the things that occurred in her life, which she don't quite think properly. She, think she has all these answers. And Ira, or it's so hard to pronounce her name, Aya. I like her as well, and I like Bran. But I really like Jon Snow. Like, I really, really like Jon Snow. I like his character, his storyline, and he's cute. So, and I like Daenerys, but I just feel like they're taking too long to just get it out there. Like, give them more screen time. They definitely need more screen time. And yes, so moving on for Game of Thrones, we're going into the next one. Like I said, we're going to make these real quick, and I like to, I don't want to do one video all about this and then another video all about this. I just like to get it all in here and get it done. So the second thing that I will be talking about is Teen Wolf, my predictions for Teen Wolf. Now, if you've never seen Teen Wolf, once again, it's a TV show based on the movie Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox. And the star of this show is Scott McCall. So from what I'm gathering from the episode that I seen, they just started back for their final season ever. And I'm sad, y'all. I'm sad. Is that when they ended the Wild Hunt and they let people out of the Wild Hunt, something that was inside of the Wild Hunt that was supposed to obviously stay in the Wild Hunt escaped out of the Wild Hunt and now is loose. And they didn't know that. They were totally clueless to that. And so, which brings me to my second thing, which is a second Hellhound. Why do we need a second Hellhound? We already have a hellhound. Jordan Parrish is the hellhound. What is the need to bring in another hellhound? And what I also didn't get is how is that this hellhound who was in Eichen House for centuries all of a sudden knows something that Parrish doesn't know. Parrish is a hellhound. They're the same kind. They do the exact same thing. So how is it that he knows something escaped from the Wild Hunt when he wasn't even involved in the Wild Hunt? He was in Eichen House, frozen in this crystal shit. So how does he know? But yet Parrish, who was involved in the Wild Hunt, don't even know. I don't understand how they don't know the same thing, and why are they fighting each other? Like, I don't get that, and it blows me because Parrish, in one of the seasons, he was teaching Lydia how to fight and all of this, so which means he could fight good, but yet this hellhound who had been frozen for centuries gets out and just kicks the crap out of Parrish. I'm not quite getting that. So the third thing would be the hunters are back again. Not quite sure why the hunters are involved. The only thing I could think of is that the hunters are coming after, the wolves because they're upset that Scott and them, let these things out of the Wild Hunt, and by giving life back to the Nematode tree, they're just drawing all these supernatural creatures to Beacon Hills. So I guess that's why they're, coming out to come and get him, because they're like, you're supposed to be protecting people, but all of these things are happening because you are protecting people and you're doing things and you're not quite paying attention to what you're doing, that these things have repercussions. So the hunters, they're coming back again. And so the fourth thing would be the whole Scott and Malia thing that we saw in the previews. Now, I personally think it's a hallucination. I don't know who's hallucinating, if it's going to be Scott hallucinating or if it's going to be Malia hallucinating or dreaming, that the two of them got together. I can't see that happening. It might happen. It might really happen, but I think it's going to happen because they're going to be under, some type of spell, or maybe some wolfsbane or something like that is going to have them tripping out where they hook up. But I just don't see it happening, because I don't think Scott will go behind Styles like that, because who want leftovers, even though Styles and Malia are not together anymore, they were, they have a sexual history together. So I really can't see Scott doing that. I could be wrong, but I think they're hallucinating. I think they're dreaming. I think what we're seeing isn't what's really gonna happen, like how we think, like, oh my God, Scott and Malia are gonna get together. I don't think it's like that. I think, we're being tricked too. So and then my fifth thing would be that whatever escaped out of the Wild Hunt is causing people to have fear. It's, that's its thing, that's its power or something, I guess, is to make people be afraid of things and everyone around them. And it's making the students who were in the library when Scott and Liam was fighting the beast of Jevadon and they saw it happening, I think it's going to make them be afraid, because clearly they see it, they know what they saw. They can't just forget that. They can't not see that, so I think it's feeding off of people's fear. It's feeding off of their weaknesses and their curiosity about the weird things that are occurring in Beacon Hills. And I think that's what's happening to Scott when he took off running, when he thought he saw the hunters. I think he's hallucinating. I think he is tripping out, because whatever escaped out of the Wild Hunt that's what he does. He makes people fear things. So I think we're going to see a lot of people tripping out, thinking that they're really seeing things, but they're really not. So I I do think that that's gonna happen. And my sixth and final thing, which would bring my Teen Wolf discussion to an end, would be that counselor chick that subdued the hellhound. So, go figure. I don't understand how any type of wolf's bane that she have would even work on him in the first place, because he's a hellhound. He's not a werewolf. They're two different species. I think she's gonna die. Someone's gonna kill her, like maybe Derek, since we see Derek's coming back and we know Derek don't have a problem killing anybody. Or Malia, she don't have a problem killing anybody either. But I think that she's gonna die, and I would be also very, very happy when that happens, because I want her to die. I want her to die. I saw on the preview coming up, she's gonna attack my homeboy. I can't remember his name, but the gay one, the cute one that Mason was liking on, yeah, him. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get killed. I don't want to see him killed off, y'all. So please don't do that. But yeah, so that brings that discussion to an end, and we're gonna jump right into the next one, you guys. And the next one will be Dragon Ball Z. Y'all see I'm rocking my Dragon Ball Z shirt here. Goku, what? Okay. So, I'm a little bored with the competition. I'm bored with the competition. I really don't care for Dragon Ball Z Super, or well, just Dragon Ball Super. I'm not crazy about it. I'm old school. I like the old school, the classic Dragon Ball Z. I'm not a huge fan of this new Dragon Ball Super, which I've heard was brought, Funimation sold themselves to Sony, and I think that is going to be ruined now. It's not going to be the same, because Sony, they don't know what they're doing and they're going to jack it up really bad. That was a very huge mistake. But yeah, so I'm bored with the whole, the competition thing. I'm bored with it. I'm not really feeling it. There's too much going on. I'm not feeling it. The second thing would be this new female Broly. I feel like that's so lame. They could have left that out. Like, if they wanted someone like Broly, they could have just brought Broly back. You brought, Frieza back, and Frieza was killed. This chick, excuse me, not a chick. She looks like a chick, but not a chick at all. Completely a dude. Go figure. But he was chopped up into micro mini pieces, and they brought him back. So why couldn't they just bring Broly himself back, instead of this female who grows gigantically huge and goes crazy and can't control her powers, and that's lame as hell. Y'all would have just been better off bringing Broly back. There's no excuse as to why y'all couldn't bring him back. Y'all just chose not to bring him back. So lame. And my third thing, which is my biggest question, it's been my biggest question since this whole Dragon Ball Super came about, with this, Super Saiyan God, and they're turning blue. And my biggest question has always been, why did y'all get rid of Super Saiyan 4? Why did y'all get rid of that transformation? And for those of y'all who do not know what Super Saiyan 4 is it was the final transformation for a Super Saiyan, which is where they turn like half monkey, half man. They have the tail of a monkey, but the body of a man, which the upper half is halfway covered with fur, and they're red, which looked totally hot on Goku, not so much on Vegeta. But I don't understand why they took that away. Like, why they can't go, levels to these transformations into the Super Saiyan Blue, but still have Super Saiyan 4 in there. I don't understand that. It was a major disappointment to see that transformation just be written completely out. I don't like that. I'm not crazy about the Super Saiyan Blue. I'm not crazy about that at all. This whole Super Saiyan God, I'm not crazy about it. But I definitely do feel that Super Saiyan 4 should still be able to be a possibility of a transformation for them. I really do. I really feel like that should be added. That should be added back in. That shouldn't have been taken away because it took away from Goku. I feel like it took away from his accomplishments, his steps to obtaining all these forms for them to just take all that away. So I feel like they're basically saying all the hard work that he put in was for nothing. Just to wash all that away and only Super Saiyan God can come about, I didn't like that. And my fourth thing, which would bring this Dragon Ball Z discussion to an end, would be, will fusion be the last resort? So I haven't seen any fusion happening lately, and I'm assuming that maybe when they fight hit, that they could possibly, Vegeta and Goku could be saving fusion as a last resort, the final surprise is the fusion Super Saiyan God, since this Super Saiyan God isn't going away, that fusion is going to be the last resort. That's going to be the backup method that they're going to take, even though we know Vegeta's going to complain about it because he hates, joining bodies with Goku, but hopefully we get to see some fusion happen. Hopefully they'll surprise us with, the Super Saiyan 4 form. Hopefully they will do that. I'm not going to hold my breath across my fingers, but we'll have to see. So yeah, that brings that Dragon Ball Z discussion to an end and close. So the next thing that I would say, which I'm happy to talk about, but I'm a little sad, is the originals. Oh, the originals, you guys. So for those of y'all who do not know what the originals is, it is a TV show that was a spinoff from Vampire Diaries, and this is their last season, you guys. This will be their last season. I'm very disappointed about that, but like Julie Plec always does, write herself into circles, because I don't know, maybe she's lost the passion for these specific TV shows. I think she lost the passion, or she knows that she doesn't necessarily know what the fuck she's doing, writing herself into circles again, like she did with Vampire Diaries. She's doing the exact same thing with the originals, writing herself into, it's like, do you just write with your eyes closed and just hope for the best, So, getting into that, the first thing I would say about that is Hope is now a teenager. I'm not crazy about Hope's character. For one, I feel like casting wasn't properly done. I didn't like the girl that they casted to play Hope as a young girl, and I don't really like the girl that they picked to play Hope as a teenager. I feel like they could have picked better, but clearly, we stuck with her. And she's a teenager now, which brings me into my second thing, that now Hope's a teenager, so that means the Michelson siblings have been apart from each other for years now. So they've been away from each other for a while now, and which is sad, because they went their separate ways, so they don't know what the other person is doing unless Klaus is, stalking everybody. Which will bring me to my third thing, which is the fact that Elijah have been magic compelled. That's what we're gonna call it, because you can't compel an original. They can compel you, but you can't compel them. Elijah has been magically compelled. So always and forever is non-existent to him. That doesn't exist to him anymore. He doesn't know what that is. He knows that he has siblings, but in his mind, we're not close. We're not tight like that. I don't have to care about what happens with you. So I'm interested to see how they're going to get him back on track, seeing as how his memories of always and forever has been taken away. His feelings for Haley have been taken away. He don't have emotions for her anymore. So she basically, what he did is what Thotty Yachty Elena did in Vampire Diaries when she compelled her feelings for Damon away. Elijah basically did the same thing, because that would be the only way he could stay away. So I'm interested to see how they're going to bring, excuse me y'all, I'm nosy, I'm looking out the window, I'm sorry. I'm curious to see how they're going to bring that back together. So the fourth thing that I want to talk about, which just makes my skin just Klaus and Caroline. We've been begging for this, the original fans, the vampire fans. We've all been begging for years for Klaus and Caroline to be together. This is what we want. And Julie, once again, she's not listening to her fans. She is not listening to the fans. I won't say her fans because I'm not her fan. I'm a fan of her show, not her. But she hasn't been listening. She hasn't been listening. We see that after the third season of Vampire Diaries that, she just had blinders on and she wasn't listening. We want to see Caroline and Klaus together. Give us what we're asking for. Give us what we want. You should have did that ages ago. We want to see them together. We want them to be together because they genuinely love each other. They care about each other. Period. The only reason why Klaus got with Cammy is because she reminded him of Caroline. That's all. He couldn't get what he wanted, so he went for the next best thing, which was a carbon copy of Caroline. So why not just give us what we want? Let the two of them be together. When the season starts back, they're going to be in Mystic Falls. They're going to be in other places because people are spread out. But Hope and Haley are in Mystic Falls, which is where Caroline lives. I want to see them together. Period. I want to see them together. I want them to be a couple. Plain and simple, cut and dry. If that's not what you're going to give us, then yes, your best bet would be to just go ahead on and end the season, end the whole show. End it, because you're not listening. You're doing what you want to do, but at the same time, you have to listen to the fans. You have to listen to them. You have to take in their input, in their insight on what it is that they want to see, because we're the ones that's getting you that check, honey. Give us what we want. Plain and simple. You didn't give us what we wanted with Vampire Diaries because I wanted Damon dead. I wanted him gone for seasons. From the very first time I met him, from the very first episode of, the very first season, I should say, of Vampire Diaries, I've wanted Damon dead since then. And what did you do? You let Damon win and you killed off Stefan. So I know you don't listen to your fans, Julie. I'm talking to you. Oink, oink. You don't listen. You don't listen. So I suggest you stop making TV shows. Just stop. Because you lose your hindsight. You lose your vision on what you're doing and you don't pay attention. So end it. Go for it. Just do what you gotta do. So that brings my discussion of the originals to an end. And the last thing I'm going to discuss, which is not me saving the best for last, is me saving the worst for last. Midnight Texas, which is a new show. For those of y'all that don't know, it's a new show. It only has 2 episodes, and this is the first season. Oh, where do I start with this crap? The TV show is basically based upon supernatural creatures. This one main character who can see ghosts. He can see ghosts. And he leaves from where he lives to go to excuse me, I was gonna say Mystic Falls, but to go to Midnight, Texas, which is where his dead grandmother told him to go. He's a gypsy. And he makes it into Midnight, Texas, and he's met by a hunter who we all know as Lexi from Vampire Diaries. Yes, she's a hunter on this show, or a fighter of some sort who has way too many guns. And a witch. And a vampire. Now, the vampire, I don't remember his name, but I can refresh some of y'all memory if y'all have saw the show and y'all are wondering, who is this guy? He looks so familiar. He was from Spartacus, the very first season of Spartacus with Andy Whitfield. May he rest in peace. And he was the one who watched over all of the other gladiators. Well, yeah, basically. So that's where he's from, but he plays a vampire who sucks your energy. He can like absorb your energy, which is very much so like The Sims, like so weird. Yeah, so there's a fallen angel who, for some odd reason, they didn't want to just give him regular arms. When he opened up his wings, his whole body, upper half turns into feathers, and his hands and his arms are his wings, instead of just giving him separate wings. They turn his hands and his arms into wings. Yeah, so anyways, and then you guys, so mind you, I will break it down for you one more time. There's a hunter, vampire, witch, the dude who could see ghosts. So you would definitely think, okay, there's a were in here somewhere. Somewhere there has to be a were, because what goes with witches and vampires? Werewolves, of course. You cannot, out of all the mythological history around, those three have always been entwined with each other. If there was ever just a show that was based on witches, which they are, witches of Eastwick, Salem, the thing that was missing from those shows were vampire and werewolf. So you would think, okay, Midnight Texas, we got a witch, vampire, a dude that can see ghosts, fallen angels. There has to be a were in here somewhere. So the Reverend is clearly the were, right? So I'm excited. The little cop goes down into the cellar to see what the noise was, and I'm thinking like, oh shit, it's gonna be a big ass, werewolf down here. You know what was down there, people? You know what this man turned into? A tiger. Yes, I'll take a minute so you guys can think about that, Take your time. Please don't hold your breath by any means. Yes, correct. A tiger. Yeah, like you see on the cover of a box of Frosted Flakes. A tiger. Meow. Meow. Furry, four-legged, big feline. So me being me, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like a tiger, a were tiger. That's what y'all give us? Y'all already so far then gave us an energy draining vampire. A fallen angel whose arms turn into wings. And then he's gay. He's gay. He is gay, a falling angel, one of God's creations. He's gay, and then a fallen angel whose arms turn into wings. And then y'all slap us in the face with a tiger. Aware tiger. I cannot stress this out enough how disappointing that was. I was so disappointed. I guess they call themselves giving it a twist. You know, we're making a twist on this show. Wow, everyone is going to be expecting werewolves. We're going to give them tigers. And which is crazy because the show very much so puts you in the mind of True Blood. You know, like that was the aura that I got. Like the feeling that I got when I watched it was very True Bloodish to me, you know. And it's like, well, they said that themselves, well, True Blood isn't coming on anymore, so we're just gonna steal pieces of True Blood and we're just gonna put this show in and just let's hope no one notices, because in True Blood there was were jaguars or were panthers, excuse me. There were werewolves and there were were panthers. On True Blood there were a bunch of different creatures at first because, you know, they kind of lost their way as well, but there were all these different creatures on True Blood. And so I think that that's where they were kind of going with Midnight Texas, as they wanted all of these different creatures, you know, just out of the box, you know, which, don't get me wrong, I get it, I understand. You don't want to be in the norm, you want to be very different than what everyone else is expecting out of you. I totally get it, but a tiger, that was the best you could come up with, was a tiger and a fallen angel whose arms turn into wings instead of just giving him wings. Why couldn't you have just given him separate wings? Like, why couldn't you do that? Even X-Men got that right with our Archangel. Why couldn't y'all just give him freaking wings? Like, why couldn't you just do that? So this is my prediction on Midnight Texas. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm normally right with these things, but I could be wrong. I personally don't think that they're going to make it through a full season. I don't think they're going to make it. And I say this because the first episode, I was liking it. You know, I was feeling it. You know, I'm like, okay, I kind of like where this is going. I'm feeling it. But about time I saw the second episode was where I kind of noticed the bad acting and the bad directing. See, with me, what makes me dedicated to a show is I have to believe what I'm watching. I can't just see it and look at it as a TV series. I have to genuinely believe what I'm seeing. I have to believe you, you know, with your acting. I have to believe that you really are this character and that this is really happening to you. I have to be able to relate to how you feel and what you think. If I'm not getting that, I can no longer go on with the show. And another thing is, I don't know why, but I have to have something attractive to look at. You know, I don't want to see a show with just a bunch of ugly ass people. Like with that TV show Rain that comes on CW. I don't like that show. For one, bad acting. Number two, they all are very unattractive. Now, I'm not the brightest apple to fall off of the tree, but I'm not on television. You know, so I have to have something decent to look at when I'm watching a show. And if I don't have that, then I will not watch it. I kid you not, I don't give a damn how good it is. I'm not going to watch it. And There's not a lot of that going on in Midnight Texas. And I started to see the bad directing and the bad acting, and and I'm like, yeah, they're not gonna make it through a full season. They're not gonna make it through a full season. And if they do make it through a full season, they're not gonna come back for a season two. Please do not come back for a season two. Please do not do a full season two. Please. For the writers, the creators, I am looking at you, and I don't like looking into the camera because it's very weird. But I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna tell you, please, please, end my suffering now. Do not come back for a season two. Please do not come back for a full season one. Please, I need y'all to be canceled as soon as possible. As soon as possible. I can't deal with the Were Tiger. I can't deal with that. I can't do it. I can't. And that new vampire that y'all brought in, please box him up and ship him back to Fargo, please. Return him to Cinder. Send him back to Fargo. That's where he belongs. Not on this show. Please don't do that to him. Please, please, please stop it. Stop. Stop. Thank you. I just really wanted you to know that, I've been holding that in. I wish I could meet you guys in real life and tell you to your face, to just stop, yeah, so yeah, that concludes my conversation, and I've been talking for 36 minutes now, you guys. So if you make it through this whole entire video, I thank you very much for your love and support. For those who do watch my videos, I keep my videos very simple. I like to get straight to the point. So yeah, so that concludes this conversation, this topic, you guys. Thank you for bearing with me. I know I discussed a lot of things. I hope some of you were able to keep up. And yeah, so I'll be back. Who knows when I'll come back, but I will be back with more to discuss. And this is your girl Chanel Says What, and I'm officially signing off. Don't forget to hit that like button at the bottom, that subscribe, help a sister out, yeah. But yeah, thanks. So bye.